What's going on, everybody? This is Little Wren, and I am super excited to bring you my review of the Attack on Titan movie Part 1, because Part 2 comes out later this month, so of course I'm going to see that in the theater. Yeah, all you people who are like, were you going to pay money for that? Yeah, I will, twice to see both parts. So this will be my review of Attack on Titan movie Part 1. So I want to give you guys my top 5 differences that I found between the movie and the anime, but also some of the similarities. It basically will build up my review of what I really liked about it, and some things that probably couldn't have changed even if they wanted to. So number 1, Eren, no last name given, because everybody in this movie was Japanese, so I don't think Eren Yeager would make any sense. Eren was a little bit less useless in the movie than he was in the anime, only because he actually kills a Titan using his 3D maneuver gear before he turns into his epic Eren Titan. So that was a little interesting, but he's still, the whole premise of the angst that he has over Titans is because he couldn't even save Mikasa with a baby. Like they were 5 feet away and he could not save her, and hence why she becomes emo Mikasa with her, I say, angsty, sad, depressive eyebrows versus her nice, exciting eyebrows at the beginning of the movie. So slightly less useless, but still enough useless to make it necessary that this movie happens and there is some drama between him and Mikasa. Other characters who were exactly the same, Hanji and Sasha. Oh my gosh, those characters, those actresses got that like perfect. Hanji's like, oh my god, Titans, and Sasha's like, potatoes. That's it. Like everything, it almost overly done, but you know how the memes are. Like she seriously loved potatoes, and possibly Armin, but that's kind of like a thing that they touch on, but it doesn't really go deep into that. But Armin definitely helps her out with the potatoes, so she probably loves him for life. Jean is also in the movie, also still an asshole. Don't really have to go much into that. He kind of has to be there to be that, anti-hero antagonist thing, whatever. He's not as important because we also have Titans. Those are the antagonists, really. And about the Titans, wow, way to bring that to the screen with real people and the CG graphics, with the computerized stuff. Like they really worked that pretty well. Like this was such a good pre-Halloween movie because they were ripping people apart. There's blood spilling out of doorways and from people. These Titans had like crazy eyes and like huge, creepy like Joker mouths. So they did a really good job. Also, which is going to be one of the differences, but they still tied in that whole like no sex organs thing, and they bring it up so you kind of understand it. That's one of the biggest differences between the anime and the movie, is that there are realistically a lot of female Titans in here. In the anime, there was like one, obviously there's Annie, and then they say that they're pretty rare, but they exist. In this one, one of the first ones you see is a female Titan. She's tall, she's slender, she's got a flat tummy, her boobs are all perky, and you're like, well, damn, that's pretty awesome. Then you have some that are just kind of like more like, they got a little meat on them, and they're like, yeah, and they're like kind of witchy, and they're like crawling on the ground, eating things, and you're like, yeah, that one sounds a little scary. So it's a little awkward, but it's also kind of cool that you see like a mix of the both. And all the Titans are much more vocal. Like they're laughing. They're not just like grunting and being like, oh. Like they are actually scaring you. Like they scared me. If I saw that and it was laughing at me about to eat me, it's kind of scary. So, but speaking of, again, on female Titans, one of the characters, one of like the main captains in the anime was talking about how he would love to be eaten by a female Titan or whatever, something weird like that. And there is a character, of course I'm not gonna remember his name right now because you know me. Lil Ren is not very good with Japanese names. I'm just gonna come out and say that. But he is one of the main captains, basically the captain that brings up and teaches Mikasa how to be the badass that she is. And that's one of his lines. He comes out and the first thing he says is, oh, if only I could, get with the female Titan or something really creepy like that. So he is what I'm sure is supposed to be their alternative for Levi, because there is no Levi character, and I don't think there will be a Levi character in part 2. Sorry, Levi lovers. But what they tried to do was make him have this like semi-OCD thing where he's talking to Eren and uses a handkerchief to touch his hand, but then he touches his other hand with no handkerchief, so I'm like, this guy's not for real. So you're not selling me on the semi-Levi situation. But he is an important character for this storyline because he is now that schism between Eren and Mikasa. So it's a little weird and kind of like apple sexual, but you have to see the movie in order to understand that joke. I'm not even going to try to explain it to you right now, but it's funny. Going back to the whole Eren and Mikasa thing, I know I'm kind of going out of order here and a little bit backwards, but the Eren Mikasa struggle is what makes this, it's the whole reason behind the plot in this whole story in the first place. Eren wasn't able to save Mikasa, so Mikasa grows up 2 years later and kind of despises him for that. I mean, she shows this really disgusting like bite mark scar on her side, and she's not happy. All she wanted was to be with Eren, and I think in the beginning they might have even been kind of like a couple. You know, the whole scarf scene happens. It's kind of like campy. It wasn't as intense as in the anime, obviously, but it happens. The scarf, there is a scarf exchange that happens, and then later on, like he can't save her. He doesn't save her. He's too afraid. He's useless. And that is what causes that whole thing later on, where she is now with somebody else, is this amazing Titan killer, and of course he's not going to really be able to be redeemed until he becomes Titan Eren Titan, which does happen exactly like it has in the movie. It's actually kind of gross because he's like, the Titan's like, and I'm like, oh, I just ate, I saw this at the movie, girl, it's not a good idea. So, so that was kind of like, you know, I kind of went around out there, but that was a really interesting way that they tied all that still back in. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is that they have a lot of technology that is not really explained in part 1. There's a helicopter just on the wall. They have tanks, they have trucks, that not just carts, but like actual gas-powered trucks. They have explosives. They still have those stupid little rifles and those stupid cannons, which are facing the wrong way when the Titans come in. But the whole thing that they touch on with that is that machines cause war, and war kills people. So I guess they must have been, it probably hints at the internal struggle just between the walls. You know, the haves live in the middle and the have-nots live on the outskirts of the wall. So there must have been some sort of war on the inside at some point, but they don't really touch on that. Probably gonna touch on it more in part 2, which again, I'm gonna see because I'm excited. So again, it was not terrible. I don't know how to say this. There was some really interesting parts. Again, watching the Titans eat people, I know it seems kind of like weird and masochistic, but it was totally worth it. Japanese have always been interesting when it comes to horror, and this was not like your weird campy, you know, too over the top movie to watch. So I highly recommend it. Again, even Useless Eren gets a little bit of play in this, but then that ends because obviously people get eaten. So hashtag Titan cock block, because it actually does happen. Thank you, Chris, for coining that. If you guys want to use that around your things, please do. Spread it across the internet. Watch the movie when it comes out, and if you can, pay a little money for it. You know, we still gotta support the craft so we can have some things like this happen, whether or not you thought it was the best movie ever or not. So that's how I felt about it. Please comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought. If you saw it in the movie theaters, where did you see it? And did any of you have that weird, I've been waiting for this day moment with the subtitles? Because I didn't. So I got to see all of them. They didn't even say that part until the very end when they showed a preview for part 2. So let me know if that was in one of your theaters. How did you enjoy it? What you liked and didn't like about it? Again, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those places, and I'd love to talk to you guys about it. So this is Little Wren signing off, and let's talk anime movies.